Hey, the purposes for this video are for entertainment and criticism. Take it, leave it, you do you. This video is not to give you an excuse to harass or bully the user in question, so do not treat it like it is. We do not condone witch hunting or harassment, so don't do it. Thank you, and enjoy the video. Hello everybody, I'm Yuji.
I'm Dingo.
And I'm Muffin.
And welcome back to another video. Today we're reviewing 3 characters by the same person, artcrazy1223, but first, sprites.
Today's sprites are made by Choco Chalk and Alex Prod.
One of the users didn't have a sprite set for Dingo, but then we had the sprite set for Dingo that looks similar to the art style, so, you know, we're just mixing it up, but thank you very much for the sprites.
Yeah, thank you.
And on to the first character, starting off with the looks. Okay, this isn't bad, definitely needs some work on anatomy and such, and this goes for all of the pictures that we're going to be looking at today, but honestly, it's not the worst I've seen. Maybe someone in the comments can help you out more with the art aspect of things, because Lord knows I can't do art.
I agree, it definitely needs some work on anatomy and all that. And also, like, if you're going to be making pictures on, like, paper and then taking pictures of them and uploading them, try to center the pictures better. It makes the quality look a lot worse if part of the picture's out of frame, you can see part of the background. I would have liked you to have just centered it to make sure all the screen was just filled up by the paper itself.
Yeah, as for the character design in general, it's not bad. You know, it's simple, so not really much to say about it. But anyways, we are moving on to the bio name, Zilla Brooke Valika.
Thank you for giving us the pronunciation. An interesting last name, very unique.
Alias, Zilla, work in progress. Nicknames, Zell, Zelly, and Hawk.
Why does she have the nickname Hawk? And I think that would be a better alias than just her name.
Agreed. Age 19, sexuality, hetero-romantic.
That's not a sexuality. It even has romantic in the name.
You would write heterosexual. Gender, female. Height, 5'7.5", 171.45 centimeters. Weight, 149 pounds. Why did you write the centimeters for height, but not the kilograms for weight? It's very inconsistent. Body type. She's very strong slash muscular for her age. Long legs.
Okay, well this is a better description than some of your characters have. I would like a bit more, and I'll get to that more in the last character.
Running, kicking, etc.
What? Why is there just randomly running, kicking, etc. here? This could be like an error in our notes, but I don't think it is.
Hair or short blonde haircut around the neck area. The day she became a killer, June 23rd, 2013.
Do you mean a killer, or is her demon form thing named Killer?
Powers, extremely good hearing, demon transformation, able to mimic voices extremely easily.
Okay, good hearing and mimicking voices are actually pretty interesting. I haven't seen those much. As far as the demon transformation though, I would like a bit more information on that. Like, there's a lot that could go into demon transformation, or, you know, it could be a very simple transformation, but we don't know that. I don't think it's enough to just write demon transformation.
Agreed. Her demon powers. It's not that different.
That different than what? What are we comparing this to exactly?
She only does...
That's not how you spell does.
It to feel more powerful, as her powers are increased just a little, as so are her main senses, and she can control when it comes off and stuff. It isn't why she kills.
Yeah, I still understand almost nothing about the demon powers, though. That wasn't a great explanation.
Does it just, like, enhance her normal powers, or, like, what? I'm confused. Demon info. She uses a human form to try and trick people, though it's not her real form, nowhere close.
Why are you talking about her human form in her demon info?
Agreed. That, and looking at the picture again... There's no real form to be seen for this character.
If she has demon forms, I would have expected that to be put in the picture.
Agreed. Half demon form, still human, eyes just turn a blood red, slight horns and voice demonic.
This is kind of like generic, but I mean, you're completely free to be generic if you want. I'm not going to stop you.
I mean, for a half demon form, I can be okay with this, I think. Since she grows horns, you might also consider having her skin change colors, or maybe her veins turn black. That could be interesting. A bit edgy, but interesting. And it already seems like you're taking a slightly edgier edge with this character, so a little bit more edgy wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, we are talking about a demon, so the edginess can't hurt.
Go big or go home.
Although, it would be very interesting to see a demon who is very frilly and frolicky like an angel.
Likes country music.
Tiptoe through the tulips! We're losing track. Anyways, where was I? Full demon form. Pitch black demon eyes, black horns with gray stripes out of her head. Twisted, her skin looks grayish, making her look sick, and her mouth is wide, even sharper teeth. It's supposed to be horrifying. I don't know how to describe it, and it's not drawn because I'm still a beginner artist.
You responded to my criticisms before I could even say them. Bravo on your foresight, mate. Also, as for the full form, in my opinion, that doesn't really feel that demonic. It sounds a lot more like a member of the undead, affected by plague, like a ghoul, rather than something like abyssal like that.
It could help if you Google demon form or demon OC to give you some ideas. Don't just outright take these ideas, but that should help get your creative juices flowing, because what you've described, honestly, for the full demon form, sounds a bit more like a half demon form. For full demon form, I would expect her, like, sprout wings, her skin, not only does it turn, like, black, but it grows, like, scales, you know, that kind of stuff, like an actual demon, instead of just, like, oh, her skin gets kind of dark and she has horns, twisted, sharp teeth.
Or if you want it to be simple and horrifying, like her entire body, like, turns either black or, like, a deep red, and her eyes are black, and it's, like, her skin is dripping or something like that. I don't know. Simple tends to be a lot scarier than something with, like, a big buff demon with wings, you know? I don't know, I just kind of stare at that and like, you're kind of scary, but you're not as scary as that thing that's dripping over there. What is that?
Either way, I would just Google these to give you some ideas.
Type of demon. Normal. Those ones you always see, the classic horns, all that.
Certainly doesn't sound like how one would describe a normal demon, but I could just be misinterpreting your description.
I also don't think type of demon is necessary. As far as I know, there aren't really specific classes of demons everyone knows, so when you say normal, people are going to have a ton of different ideas on what that means. Unless they're, like, for certain religions, like, for different circles of hell, there are different demons, which I've never heard about. But yeah, for the most part, I feel like people are going to be like me, where they're like, what does normal entail?
Yeah, because, like, again, different religions, different, like, variations of demon. Like, for some people, normal demon could be supernatural normal demon, which is just a demon possessing a human body, and they have black eyes. Or red eyes if they're a crossroads demon. But either way, you know, normal is different with each person. How she kills people. We'll find people, usually children and teens, try and get thee to follow her, afterwards turning into a demon, killing them.
So I have a question. She has this demon form and everything, very powerful, very scary. You show this in how she kills people. She just turns to demon form and kills them. Why is she carrying an axe in her picture? Why does she use that? You obviously just told us that she uses her demon form to kill. She doesn't use the axe. Why does she have an axe?
Maybe it's just for looks. I know if I was a big old scary demon, I'd carry a big old weapon just for looks and end up ripping you apart.
I don't even need this. That's how powerful I am.
Just like, I just carry this around because it's pretty. I'm gonna kill you now. Why she kills. She finds it thrilling, wanting to show everything she learned and how she thinks she's better than everyone.
Once more, this is kind of a generic set of personality traits, but I'm not going to stop you. The difference in genericism here is that it's kind of boring genericism, in my opinion at least. It could be a lot more interesting, like maybe she has to consume souls to stay alive and just really doesn't value human lives. Or maybe when she kills humans, their souls become slaves to her in hell or something.
These ideas could be great. Again, nothing wrong with being generic if that's what you really want, but something like this could help your character stand out instead of just being another demon OC who likes killing. You say, wanting to show everything she learned. You could change up her backstory by having her meet someone that turns her into this half-demon thing and teaches her, but in return, she owes him souls, and if she can't provide, he takes her soul, and so that's why she kills. It's a little less generic and a lot more interesting and still sticks kind of with that theme of, like, she's killing to show what she's learned.
Oh, that, and if you still want to have she enjoys killing, at first she dislikes it, but then she starts to grow a taste for it. And she actually starts enjoying killing people. You know, that could also be interesting. I love it when sweet, innocent characters become twisted and messed up. It's always fun. Voice, a slight southern accent, Alabama-like. Hey, you have a southern accent. Alabama-like. Shut up.
Yeah.
Alabama-like, usually dropping the G's, saying ain't gonna wanna, horrible education, yet still tied to use bigger words. Hey, it's nothing.
Shut the fuck up! I did not have a horrible education. Okay, the only thing connecting me with this is that my accent comes out sometimes. Kiss my ass.
Birthday, June 28th, 1997. Okay, she
Whoa.
was born a month before I was.
Weird.
Yeah. Same day and same year, just different month. Zodiac. Cancer. Don't make it OC.
I don't know why I'm laughing about that.
I'm laughing because I wanted to make this OC's cancer
she's
joke.
She's a cancer. Anyway.
Blood type, O negative.
This is a very personal, opinionated nitpick, so you're free to ignore it if you want, but why do people put a character's blood types in bios where it would almost never be relevant? Is this psychometer gonna, donate blood or something? Would her blood be poisonous or anything? Same thing goes for the Zodiac, but at least the Zodiac is believed to influence personality if you're superstitious, so I guess it can be interesting to think about how accurate it is. I know that there's, the Japanese personality, blood type thing, and I guess that could influence it, but then why have both? So, I don't know. Unless you want to do a combination, I guess. If it's for that reason, you're completely fine doing that, but otherwise, it's just weird.
Other stuff. When she's extremely nervous, in pain, or does something that might get her in huge trouble, she digs her nails into her skin, mostly her arm, and sometimes making it bleed. Sometimes her eyes will shake/vibrate. No known reason.
Nani?
Oh, I actually know what this means. My eyes do it sometimes. They just shake violently back and forth, and it makes my vision blurry. It makes me disoriented. It's very weird. It's also very uncomfortable because I can feel it. I don't like it.
I'm going to assume you mean the anime style thing where characters do that when they're scared, but I would like further clarification, just in case.
Often uses big/smart words. Just looks at Muffin.
Fuck. Where is that meme?
Hobby/things she likes doing. Practicing her weapons. But she doesn't use them.
And what do you mean weapons plural? All we're shown is an axe. We haven't even, we haven't gotten a section either that says weapons, axe, so on, so on. So, we don't even know if she uses the axe at all. What do you mean weapons?
Thinking of new ways to kill.
I suppose I can't be too angry about this. You actually gave this one hobbies, and there is a hobby not related to the fact that she's a killer, but, going off of what Dingo's been saying this whole time, very generic. Of course the killer has a hobby where she likes to kill. Can't killers have other hobbies where, killing is my part-time job, but my hobbies are, I like building puzzles when I get home, painting, petting my cats. I don't kill as a hobby, I kill as a job. Why can't we have a killer like that?
How she kills. She uses her axe to slice open their necks and let them bleed to death.
Hold on, but we already had a section about how she kills. Why is there two?
That's what I was gonna ask. Why is there two?
I'm so confused. We already had a section about this.
Try not to repeat things in your bio, guys. It makes for a lot of unnecessary reading.
Mm-hmm.
If she has a knife, she shoves the knife into the neck, letting them choke on their own blood. Throws her axe into the neck, stomach, head, anywhere she could kill them or make the most pain.
How many fucking weapons does she have? Also, you already said she uses her axe to slice open their necks. I don't think you need to repeat this. We can assume that she'd use her axe to do axe-cutting things with them.
Uses her teeth to rip out their throats. She has sharp canine teeth, but only her natural canines are sharp.
You said in her demon form, her teeth get all big and sharp. So, what is it? Only her natural canine teeth are sharp, or are her demon teeth sharp too, in which case she would just turn into her demon form, like you said earlier, and kill them with that, like you said earlier.
There's a lot of contradictions I'm starting to notice as I read. Race, Europe.
saying that someone from Europe is really too broad to be saying much. Like, if we're going stereotypical here, I could see her maybe being, like, German, as they're kind of seen as being, like, violent and having dungeons and such, but that might also offend some people. Maybe. I don't know. I'm German. I don't find it offensive, but who knows? I don't know.
Left/right, ambidextrous, mostly right. Weapons, axes, main, it's a normal axe with real camo duct tape wrapped around the handle.
As opposed to fake camo duct tape? What does that mean?
It's pink camo duct tape.
Flamingo duct tape.
Yes, exactly. Knives, only sometimes, mainly a hunting knife. What do you mean only sometimes? We're going into her weapons and what they are, not how often she uses them. What? A .380 pistol.
How many weapons does she have? And if she has a pistol, why didn't you talk about that at all in one of the two sections of how she kills?
That's a good question. Like, in the first section of how she kills, you say she goes into her demon form. But then in the other section, you talk about, like, how she uses her weapons to kill.
Is there a third section talking about the gun somewhere in here?
I fucking hope not, or I'm gonna scream. Personality, hyper, crazy, in the insane way.
In the insane way, of course. I'm going to go into more detail on this for the last character, but insane isn't an actual personality trait, by the way.
I don't like sounding like a broken record. Yes, I do. I'm lying. But that's really overdone to just make a character's personality crazy.
Quick to think, smartish, brave, perseverant, determined, could sometimes get distracted, sassy. When she was a kid, before sold to the gang. She was sold to a gang?
The Yakuza gang. Right, that's the, like, Chinese gang, right?
Japanese mafia.
I apologize. That makes me sound, like, racially insensitive now. Chinese and Japanese getting them mixed up. I apologize.
It's fine. You didn't even know what the Yakuza was until that one character.
I was so innocent, yeah.
Now you know the Yakuza. Hyper, easily distracted, sweet, innocent, caring, lovable, not aware of her family's issues.
So she's like most kids. I don't really see the point of giving us this info, but I mean, I guess it's alright.
During the gang, hyper, distracted, revengeful. By the way, it's just vengeful. I don't think you'd go revengeful. It's just vengeful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just vengeful. Revengeful just sounds silly. Mean, bitchy/sassy, heartless, and angry. Friends and family. Mother, Sarah Valika, dead, other reasons. Father, William Valika, missing, probably dead. Dash Valika, still in the gang.
Okay, so you say mother, father, but you don't give us an explanation of who Dash is. Is this your sister? Is this your brother? Is this your non-binary sibling? Who is this?
Is this your aunt?
Is this your dog?
Oh!
Dash the dog in the gang!
Okay, I'm gonna stop. Disorders. Severe ADHD. She's slowly getting less distracted and hyper, but you can still see she definitely has it. OCD. A little bit of a stutter and a hard time spelling. Nothing major, just like this, you know, Sal, right? Yeah. Like that. Clothing, a red shirt with blue jeans and brown combat/hiking boots. Accessories, a black leather choker/necklace, a belt for her axe. What about her gun and her knife? Where'd she keep that? Did she just hold it in her hands at all time? Catchphrases, are you afraid of the dark? Any different form of that, she's often kills when it's dark.
Another personal opinion here, so take it with some salt, but I think giving characters catchphrases is really tacky and almost always feels forced. If you're trying to go for something like campy, like a superhero thing, then completely ignore that advice. But if you're trying to make this taken seriously, I would recommend not doing that.
Okay, scars. Face the bottom of her forehead. To the middle of her cheekbone on the right, bending the nose a little and making the face shape look a little different when someone was defending themselves and cut her face. One of her arms, not self-harm from fights, just regular scars from fights. Okay, theme song. There's a song. I'm not gonna play it because it's copyrighted. I don't think a theme song is necessarily needed, but I guess if you really want to keep it, go ahead and keep it. But you know, I don't think it's necessary. I just like the song, even though this one is a bit edgy. It fits her. Okay, bio, work in progress.
Back story. The whole thing we're reading right now, like this whole thing, including the backstory, is the bio. But this part of the bio is the backstory.
Zilla was raised in an extremely poor family. Her mom and dad spent almost all their money on alcohol and drugs. Can relate. She had to take care of Dash, her little brother. Right there it is! Brother! Kind of wish it was a dog. as well of herself. She was fed, dressed, all that. She just had to do her own things. Her mother and father tried to show compassion, but they never actually cared. They sold her to a gang at 5 to get more money, as selling her brother.
What? That isn't proper English at all.
At first, the gang abused her. 2 or so years later, the gang realized how off she is, and then more like became her family. What?
I'm so like, they're abusing her and they realize, hey, this girl's kind of like mentally unstable. Why would they let her become family? Why don't they just like, hey, you know, we're done playing with this toy. She's obviously snapped. Kill. They're a gang. They don't care.
Oh, one would be cool if they tried to kill her, but it didn't work because she's a demon. So, like, that activated her, like, demonic powers and she fucking slaughtered all of them. I don't know. It's generic, but, you know, it'd be better than what's going on right now. Because this is just confusing. This is where her knowledge of weapons and her love for violence. They got her the choker she wears today, saying that she was theirs. It didn't take long for Zella to make that correlation.
This got kinky quite fast.
Because this went so fast, I don't know how to deal with them going from abusing her, and what kind of abuse are we talking about here also? Being like, oh, you're crazy! Join our gang and let's be family.
Oh my God. At the young age of 7, she was introduced to crime. She robbed small, not well-armed stores and other things of the sort. There were 2 boys, Alex and Roger. Those 2 became like her family. They robbed the stores together. One day, one of the shop owners found them, killing them. Zella was extremely angry from this. Another pass going insane.
Found them, killing them. This is bad writing. You talk about Alex and Roger and your character in the sentence before, and then just switch to saying them, as if the readers totally understand who you're talking about. With reading the last sentence, we can kind of figure out that you just meant the boys, not your character. But to save your readers from that slight moment of confusion, try to use actual names. Don't assume your readers know right away who you're talking about, because a lot of times we don't, and it's confusing.
4 years later, a woman found her with the gang, and she didn't know that the gang was like Zella's family, and took her away.
So you mean somebody walked in here and was like, oh, kid, surrounded by gang members, you don't belong here. Took her away, and the gang members were just like, oh, okay, bye. I don't think so.
You think this gang would have a defining symbol or mark that everybody would know about?
Yeah.
Like, because she's wearing a collar or a choker.
They'd probably have that symbol on there to mark her as, like, okay, obviously they give her the choker to mark her as their own. It said it before. So it would obviously have the symbol of their gang on there. So everyone knows she was affiliated with the gang and be like, oh, we're not messing with her.
Don't touch the child.
Yeah.
Like, that actually just doesn't make any sense, because most gangs nowadays have a defining symbol or mark, and if you see anybody with that symbol or mark, you stay the fuck away from them. Thinking that they abused her since she has a scar on her face from getting attacked at the age of 13 during a heist.
To be fair, during the first 2 years they did abuse her, but like...
You're a little late. Fair. You're a little late, lady. Where Alex and Roger were killed, Zella was confused for the gang cared, but nowhere near this one did. What do you mean the gang cared? They abused you for 2 years.
Okay, but now they're like, oh, you're crazy, we're friends.
I don't understand. I don't understand anything at all. The woman took her to her house, going to take her to the orphanage. The next day, Zella acted sweet and scared, where she was really going insane. She was always off. The gang made it worse. In the middle, the gang?
They were like, your family, what do you mean?
Or are you just trying to imply, like, they fed, like, the, kind of cuckoo part of her brain, to where the memes made it, I'm fucking confused. I'm too tired for this. I haven't slept for 24 hours. I'm too tired for this bullshit. Excuse you. No. The gang made it worse. In the middle of the night, she went off killing the woman's daughters.
The hell? Even for a crazy person, this doesn't make sense. Did she even know the daughters?
As one does.
The oldest, the only son, got Zella in a hold as called the cops. The cops took her to the insane asylum, and demons saw the hate in Zella.
A demon just hanging around the insane asylum was like, oh, you're angry, I'm angry, let's be friends.
as she escaped.
Jesus!
Hello.
This story's moving fast. How did she escape?
She was given demon powers from the demon that saw her hate and anger. Notes, I have permanently removed the wings. Okay, we're gonna talk about this more in final thoughts, but moving on to the next character.
Her appearance is cute. The focus on the picture makes it a little hard to see like some of the details on her, because you're just kind of in a corner, and then you have a lot of free space here, so you could probably fix it up and get that to be a little bigger, maybe a bit closer together, but otherwise, it's not bad. If she looks cute, I'm sorry, it's just my art style. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a cute art style. Yes, I'm aware this OC is really bad. I know she's a cliche character, so I'm really sorry if you die. Well, I mean, at least you're aware of it. Cliches aren't honestly a big deal if you can pull it off well. Like, the reason cliches become cliches is because people use them a lot, and they only use them a lot because they were good. Name, Victoria Claire Gale. Creepypasta name, Poison Ivy. Nicknames, Poison Vic, Ivy, Poison Prefers. Age, 19. Sexuality, bisexual. Gender, female. Height, 5'10". Weight, 142 pounds. Body type, long arms and legs, average in weight and muscular. Hair, short light blonde hair, curly. Eyes, blue-green. Well, in the picture they just kind of look blue, not really blue-green, so maybe you should splash in a little more green there. So. The day they became a pasta, March 1st, 2013. Powers, poisonous to touch. The poison touches only through skin and not clothing. I mean, yeah, that is kind of what touching implies, but I guess it is nice for you to clarify it just in case. Favorite colors, green and yellow.
I believe this is the only character where you put a favorite anything in her bio, and you also don't have a dislikes. What?
Birthday, October 20th, 1996. Zodiac, Libra. Hey, like me. Her birthday's same as mine too, that's pretty cool. Blood type, AB-. Strength, 7 out of 10, speed 8.5 out of 10, agility 8 out of 10, charisma 2 out of 10, endurance 7 out of 10, stealth 5 out of 10, patience 1 out of 10, balance 6 out of 10, and luck 6 out of 10. Some of the stats are a bit high, I know, I don't know what to lower. While these do certainly help determine the relative power of character, it means nothing if we have no grounds for basis. For example, in one universe, one strength might mean you're like paper, while another could be the strength of the average human. If we're basing this on some existing scale, it would be nice if you linked it, otherwise some comparison, like how speed could be compared to like a panther or something, would be quite nice. A decent one might be like Dungeons & Dragons 5e, that one has a good one. Maybe 3.5 actually, that one might be better. But that's an example where the numbers actually mean stuff, and it might be a good way to determine like the average stuff. Or something, I don't know. Weaknesses can be overtaken by any kind of ghost. I mean, I'm no expert on creepypasta, but isn't that sort of normal in universes where ghosts can possess? That'd make it really pointless to point out. She feels constant poison ivy rashes inside of her body, yet she's numb to it. Sometimes it's too much to bear. That's how she has her poison touch. She's a bit of a show-off with the gymnastics. She feels remorse. She's a little full of herself. Easy to recognize since she's so damn tall and just overall at how she looks.
5'10" isn't tall, depending on where she's from, which you haven't given us. If she's from Europe, wherever the part of Europe she's from is, like the other character, 5'10" still isn't tall.
Yeah, 5'10" is not tall at all. Then normal human weakness things like guns and stuff. And being possessed by ghosts is not included in normal human weaknesses? I want to see the humans in this world. Advantages. She can give people severe poison ivy rashes. She did gymnastics, so she's very agile. She's good with her lead pipe. She puts spikes in the end and even better blow. I mean, putting spikes in the end isn't really an advantage of it. That's just part of how the weapon is. Good with hand-to-hand combat. She has gloves on so the poison won't go to the victims.
Wait, that's one of her main advantages. Why wouldn't she let the poison go to her victims? I don't understand. What's the point of that, then?
She looks like a normal human, so she can trick others. She's not an easy opponent in the forest. That's her domain. She's immune to all poisonous plants. Since she feels poison ivy rashes constantly, even though she has some tolerance to it, I feel the statement isn't exactly correct, but since I don't actually know how her power works, is her flesh like 50% poison ivy? Is it just like magic without any explanation? I don't know. But I'm not sure of that. Hobbies/things they like doing. Not available. Everyone likes to do something. It's just in our human nature. If she doesn't like to do anything, then, well, she must really, really be boring. Like a plant. Ooh. Species, human. Race if human. Irish/Asian. What kind of Asian? Chinese? Japanese? Korean? Just saying Asian isn't really, like, specific enough. Left/right, ambidextrous, but mostly left. Weapons. Lead pipe, ignored a katana and a ref. I changed it and haven't got around to do a new ref. Good taste in not using a katana. Poison touch. Not really a weapon, that's more like a power. Pistol, rocks. Rocks? Some explanation for that would be nice. Personality. You got aggressive, quick to think.
Are all of your characters quick to think?
Nature geek, a sorta bully, full of herself / self-centered, nasty.
Nasty as a nasty temperament, or is she just genuinely a nasty, gross person?
Is she like Toad from X-Men? Does she not shower? Does she only shower once a month? And even then, does she not use soap?
Smart. Also, I would like to notice that personality is actually spelled personality here. You might want to fix that up a bit. When she was a kid, bully, actually insecure, only wanting to impress her friends, rebel, edgy. Why is there like parentheses around edgy there? Is that supposed to mean something? I don't know. Charismatic, a pair is sweet, but nasty as all hell. Friends and family. Mother, Judy Gale, dead, other reasons. What does other reasons mean? Like natural causes? Father, Gorge Gale, alive. Brother, Samuel Gale, dead, she killed him. Oh. Okay. Sister, Camille Gale, died before Victoria was born, the oldest. Zella / Darkhawk, a kind of friend. I mean, man, you're allowed to name people Darkhawk and stuff, but I will say that it's really edgy, and some people might not like that. But I mean, hey, it's up to you what you want to do for your character, of course. Teammate / boyfriend, the jokester, Jason Sampson. Is that like the Joker's bootleg cousin? Yeah, didn't like Max G do a parody called The Jokester? Disorders, ADD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. She got PTSS from brutally killing her brother with a rock. Jesus, dude.
Okay, I can see that, but I hope you did your research and actually showed what PTSS is. It's not just a trait you can give your character and not show it all, like how it affects their lives. Like, things like PTSD and PTSS, they are things that can permanently affect people's lives. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, same. Like, Muffin here can't watch car crashes in movies very well because she'll throw up.
Yep.
And then I can't have my sides touched because I'll go into 5-hour panic attacks. And my panic attacks tend to get pretty brutal. Like, stuff like this actually is very affecting to the life. You don't just go, oh, my character has PTSD. She's so quirky, you know?
So yeah, like, not to be too overly harsh, because we've been a little bit harsh in this video already, but, like, don't just put this as your trait and not show it affecting her life some way, because that just makes it seem like you're trying to put it as a cool, quirky little, like, aspect of your character, not actually thinking about what it actually is.
Kind of like the insanity thing with the last character.
Yeah.
It just felt like it was just a trait thrown in there to make the character cool and quirky, not like something, like, actually serious, like, real, like, mental insanity is. Also, do your research for any kind of, like, disorder you give your character and make sure you know how they work and how they affect, like, a person. Like, PTSD isn't going to be the same for everybody, but, like, get a general idea of how it affects people before you go throwing it into a character like it's some fun, quirky trait just to give them, just cuz.
Clothing, green shirt, jeans, hiking boots, black fingerless gloves holding onto her lead pipe better and to control her poison touch better. I mean, I don't really see how fingerless gloves would help control touch. Like, wouldn't you want fingers to cover that up if you want to control it more? Accessories, green emerald necklaces. Catchphrases, it's just a plant, referring to herself. She calls herself it. I mean, that's pretty weird. Isn't nature wonderful? Too bad you're not around to see it. About to kill them. Like I said earlier, having catchphrases is kind of tacky, but do it if you want. Scars, large scar on her back. It comes from right beneath her left shoulder and a curve to her right side. Got in a fight. Scars of various different sizes on her right arms. Normal battle scars.
Scar and scars don't have an E in them.
Got a theme song. Maybe we'll put a thing up there for that, or maybe not. I don't know. Why can't you do a damn thing right? Why couldn't you have been a goddamn boy? I hate you, Victoria. The brown-haired boy yelled. His blue eyes he possessed glared into my soul, almost sending a chill down my spine. I burst into tears. This isn't all he did to me. This was just the easy stuff. Most of it was worse. A lot worse. So I ran out to the one place I knew I could be alone. My garden house. I slammed the door with my lasting anger and roughly grabbed a watering can that laid down beside the entrance. It was a small green house. No roof, really. Glass-like walls and a white door. I was suddenly calmed by the sight of my plantation. I don't know why the plants always made me happy. I guess it just makes me feel responsible, so the anger slipped away. I carefully watered the plants, making sure to pour the right amount for each plant. I smiled, whiling my... Is that a word? No, I mean, that is a word, but that's not correct context for it. I smiled, whiling my face. See, I'm a gardener who cares. This is calming, I laughed. People always said my laugh sounded psychotic. I don't know why, I guess it did. Wow, my laugh is weird, huh? Who just randomly says that? Who just randomly says my laugh is weird? Well, like, when talking alone. I said, putting the watering can back where it belongs, but they make me feel safe. No idea why. They're just plants. Nothing more than that. It shows me I'm responsible.
I wish Samuel would just be nice to me for once.
I said, putting the watering can down. My phone made a beep-beep noise. Who's that? I pulled the phone out of my pocket. Georgie, wonder what she wants. I started reading text. Hey, where are you? School's about to start. I read the text, grabbed my bag, and ran to the bus stop.
If school is about to start, the bus probably left way before this.
I mean, yeah, if school's about to start, the bus definitely left before then. Hey, Victoria, what's up? Georgie walked over to me, a pink dress, black flats, and a black leather jacket over it. Hey, Georgie, so I need to mark some things. It's March 1st, right? I said, looking at them. My style's the opposite. I wear combat boots, jeans, and shirts. They wear dresses, tights, flats, and heels. The only thing we all wear is leather jackets. I mean, that's really edgy, dude. I mean, that's okay. It's okay to be edgy. But, I mean, I will point it out every time. So, Victoria, what's up? Samantha smiles at me. She has the same thing as Georgie, but blue. The normal, I said, shrugging my shoulders. Okay, well, let's get on the bus. I see it anyways, I said as the bus stops right in front of us, opening door as we walk in. Hello, losers, Georgie laughed, sitting up front. Samantha laughed. Yeah, losers. Dab on them. Ugh, dab on them was not in there. I sat down next to him. The bus ride was short and boring, like always. When we got to school, everyone just poured out of the bus and into the school. So, Victoria, let's meet here by the lockers after first period. I've got a surprise. You'll love it. Georgie laughed, walking off Samantha to her class. They're both pretty short, so they wear the death trap of shoes known as high heels. I opened my locker and grabbed my books and put my backpack up there, close it, then running to my class, math. I'm just gonna say right now, the writing here is very, like, amateur, so it's kind of hard to read sometimes, and, yeah, like, I'm not amazing at reading stuff out loud, but, it's just kind of a lot to go through. First period was boring, like normal, nothing but worksheets. Class, finish the worksheet, no cheating, no getting up, and no talking. She always acted as if it was a test. I hated Miss Due, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm just gonna do Dow. She was the worst, smacking us with roulettes. She was a really bad teacher, but after class ended, so like Georgie and Samantha said, I went down to the lockers. A smaller kid was there too, crying. He was our age, just short. Victoria, hey, come on, Samantha smiled. I slid down the railing on the stair and jumped off, landing right in front of him. Oh, little shorty crying. What's wrong? I snickered. I'm not short, he protested. You're just tall, he wiped his face. Oh, what the fuck did you just say? I'm tall? Of what an insult. Ah, I sounded really sarcastic. I'll tell the principal on you. You'll get kicked out for sure. He holds his hands up in a fighting position. We're to talk, she's the muscles. And Samantha smiled, laughing. I'll tell you what. I punched him in the stomach as the teacher walked by. Miss Victoria Gale, go to the principal's office now, she yelled firmly, Georgie and Samantha snickering. I go off to the principal's office and sit down in a chair, waiting no one else is there, just me. Victoria, come in, he said, opening the door as I walked in. Victoria, you have to stop. I don't want to expel you, but using extreme profanity, bullying, and beating up a student today alone. You've stolen things, ruined other people's things. I have no choice but to suspend you. I will call your parents to come and get you. But sir, Samantha and Georgie were doing it, I said, slamming my hands down on the desk. Miss Gale, I know those girls, and they'd never do such a thing. Grab your backs. You are getting kicked out from school. His voice was firm. It sort of sent chills up my spine. I did as I was told, storming out, grabbing my bag, and the teacher's giving me a bunch of homework for the 2-week suspension, and then wait. As my brother gets here, both of my parents are at work. Victoria, this wouldn't happen if you stupid bitch actually listened to me, he looked at me, driving away. Well, you know what, Samuel? I'm done with you. So what? I'm not a boy. Too bad, so sad. Did she just say, like, that 5-year-old insult, too bad, so sad? Oh my god, dude. How old is this chick supposed to be? 19? I screamed at him, "Oh, look who's talking!" He grabbed his pocket knife and shoved it up at my neck. "You don't scare me!" I laughed, but by the look of Samuel's, it wasn't a good one. We got home and I went inside to play with my pet bunny, completely black with blue eyes. I called her Luna. "Hello, little bunny, you miss me?" I laid down on my back, putting Luna on my chest. She just sat there. "Well, I'll feed you in a second. I have a problem to deal with," I said, my voice sounding almost emotionless. So I put her up and ran out to my garden greenhouse. Looking at all my plants as Samuel storms in, grabbing garden shears, looking at me. "Look, sis, I understand that you hate me, but you getting suspended will get Mom so mad at me. It's all your fault." Why would she be mad at him? I don't know. He looked over at me, grabbing my shirt, holding me close, about to stab me, but he dropped it. "Oh, bro, you afraid to kill me? Well, too bad." I grabbed a rock and started beating him to death with it, smashing his head in. He tried to fight back, grabbing his shears and cutting my back before he was dead. "Oh, poor Samuel, blah, blah, blah." I mock him, wincing as I get up from the cut on my back. "I'm fine, I'm getting out of here." I walked away, going to the forest by my house, falling over, the poison ivy getting in my cuts. I tried not to scream, but I got up and ran away, finding myself odd. "Ugh!" I fell to the floor. I felt like someone put poison into my skin. It was unbearable. I tried to walk to the kid cabin that was a few miles ahead, opening the door, a lead pipe on the floor, people dead from someone. I'll take this," I smiled and started laughing like an insane person would. I touched one of the bodies. A rash started to form like a poison ivy rash. I keep laughing. "I guess I'm poison ivy now." I pull out the lead pipe and then looked around for a first aid kit to fix the cut in my back. Yeah, this didn't really feel bio-y much. It was much more like a short fiction story, which, well, not the worst for a bio. It also sort of went over lots of pointless stuff as a result. Stuff you'd expect in a story, but not a backstory. Not to mention, the writing quality was also kind of... It was a little mediocre at times. A lot of the lines, they felt very unnatural. It's hard for me to really explain what I mean, but it just didn't read right. Exactly.
And we're moving on to the final character. Woo!
Woo! So this one's name is, their creepypasta name is the Jokester. Starting off with looks for this one. This isn't terrible, but there definitely could be some improvements. First off, if you're going to do this traditional and just take a picture of it, again, like I've said before, try to keep the page nice before you take the picture and center it. You want to show pride in your work, and having a picture that's wrinkled and has a stain on it doesn't show much pride. Also, it looks like you did either most or all of this in marker, which isn't bad, but if you're not very good with using a marker and it isn't fine tipped, it can make some lines a bit blotchy where the marker bleeds more in certain places. I'd really suggest you try doing this maybe in colored pencil to put some more detail in there, and look up tutorials on bodies, eyes, and heads. Also, because this is written out on paper instead of done digitally, I can't quite tell what some of the words you've written here say. Your handwriting isn't terrible, but it's also not the best, and one of the benefits of doing art digitally is you have the tools to make your lines more stable, so we could read whatever you have there. Creepypasta name, the Jokester. I don't know, if you can, please suggest better names.
If I need a good name, I either make one without any meaning at all by messing with words on objects, or I translate some words of Google Translate. Since later on you mentioned he's a Spanish speaker natively, why not translate stuff like gesture, comedian, or joke to Spanish?
Nicknames J or JJ. Age 21, sexuality straight. Gender male, height 5'11", weight 150 pounds. Body type tall, muscular. Okay, so we've said this a lot, but for writing body type, don't just put, tall and muscular or short and thin. Body type is more than that. I found a few websites that will help you give a better idea of things that you can list here, and I'll put them in the description of this video. These websites will not only help give you more descriptors, but also help you find a better range of what works to use instead of just tall or small, thin or chubby. These descriptors will make your bio a bit more interesting, so take a look through these. Hair, brown. Eyes, chocolate brown. Skin color, tan. The day they became a pasta, April 1st, 2013. Powers, none. Birthday, April 1st, 1995. Zodiac, Aries. Blood type, O+, which we said before, not really needed. Strength, 6 out of 10. Hold on. I haven't seen this part for any of the other characters.
Neither have I. These bios are very inconsistent with each other.
Strength, 6 out of 10. Endurance, 6 out of 10. Speed, 6 out of 10. Agility, 7 out of 10. Charisma, 2 out of 10. Stealth, 9 out of 10. Patience, 4 out of 10. Balance, 5 out of 10. Luck, 5 out of 10.
These stats are pretty high. Holy shit. You got 2 pretty low ones, and then a couple of, 2 average ones, but then the rest of these are, pretty high. Like, you got 6s, 7s, and 9s. Damn.
I know sets are too high. I just don't know what to bring down. Please give me some suggestions. Well, there's not too much I can help with because the only descriptors you've given us for him are tall and muscular. There's not much to go off of. With that descriptor, he could be a good runner with lean, strong legs, making endurance a high skill to have, and also probably agility, balance, and speed. He could be thick in the arms like a bodybuilder, but doesn't work out his lower body too much, making strength a good thing to give him, but maybe not so much with agility or maybe balance. Or he could be strong but lean and not too muscular, help him be a quiet and stealthy person, but also good with balance and agility. Do you see how important it is to give a good description of your character? Instead of just you doing the overused muscular, try to think of what you want this guy to look like specifically and master in. Is he thick and built like a football player? Is he lean with strong legs like a runner? Does he focus mostly on arms and pecs like someone who does shot put? Does he have a strong torso? Do they have strong arms and legs like someone who does pole vaulting or maybe swimming? This probably seems like overkill to some people, and I can honestly understand that. But for someone who reviews characters a lot, like us, and sees the same descriptors over and over, seeing info like this would be a breath of fresh air. So you choose whether you want to take this advice to heart or not. Languages. American English, mostly Spanish, native language. Weaknesses. No powers, that's for our P. He often leaves witnesses. Instead of saying this, you could just say careless, because that's basically what he's being if he's leaving witnesses around all the time.
Also, what are you doing leaving witnesses, you fucking pleb?
He's ignorant. Sometimes he stops mid-battle to think of a joke.
Honestly, that sounds a little excessive in how dumb that would make him. Maybe being distracted from trying to look witty, maybe attractive too, being witty is often seen attractive, in combat could be believable, but actually stopping to make a joke? Like, that's something you'd see in, like, a cartoon character. And if you want to make this, again, if you want to make this stuff campy and dumb, then you're completely fine. But if you want to make a character that's somewhat believable, that trait's just not really going to work.
I agree with this. Perhaps you meant witty, and it just didn't come off that way for us. I would change that to witty, though. He's, well, a jokester, meaning he thinks almost everything is a joke. He wears a scarf that can get grabbed easily. Since, that is not how you spell since, he doesn't have magic, he would often be targeted to have a body taken over by someone who can possess, I don't know. This feels oddly specific. I really don't think you need to list that out. He's so funny, he can use where him and Poison are hiding in a joke and giveaway cover.
How? I don't understand this at all.
I think this is just them reiterating the point of, he's funny to a flaw, but this is a bit much. There's a hard line between giving your character a quirk in his personality that can get him in trouble sometimes, and really bringing down your character like this and making him all about that one thing. He is funny. This is all that guy is. He is funny. He can't fight because he's so funny. He can't eat because he's so funny. He died very early on because he's just so funny. He couldn't stop making jokes. Rip. He's hyper and can be distracted. Can have hard time staying focused. You literally just said distracted 1 sentence ago. No need to repeat. Advantages. Strong. Strong how? Like fucking All Might strong? Or does he have a specific strength? Quick to think. Can make anything a weapon. Wise with words. Okay, I feel conflicted about this. You made him seem so funny, he almost seems like a complete idiot. Like, you made him careless. He's obnoxious. Oh my gosh. You made him seem like an idiot. And when I think of quick to think, I think that he jumps at the first thought that comes to his head. Doesn't really take time to think, though. Which is maybe not what you meant, but that's how I'm taking it. These traits don't really go along with someone who's also wise with words at the same time.
Yeah, this seems like the really smart, dumb jock stereotype now that I'm thinking about it.
Smart, fast, his older sister taught him karate. You mean taught? Sneaky, determined, perseverant. He can use his scarf to hide the lower half of his face. How is this an advantage besides maybe not getting caught by the law? That's the only advantage, and it's so obvious that it's not necessary.
Also, you wrote sneaky here, but earlier you said he gives away his position constantly
He
with
leaves
jokes.
witnesses also. That's not sneaky. Hobbies such things like doing NA.
Are the hobbies of him and Poison just work in progress, or do they really do nothing?
Random facts. He can speak a little bit of Spanish. Hold on, wait. What do you mean? His native language is Spanish, though. You said he speaks Spanish. What do you mean now he can speak a little bit of Spanish? He took it in middle and high school. I thought that was his native language. He has shaky hands when he's really nervous. Species, human. Race, if human, Hispanic. Left, right, left. Weapons, hunting knives, sword, family heirloom, a few rigid parts on the bottom blade part. Anything he can find. Personality, evil, hyper, ignorant, random.
I'm gonna fucking stab someone.
Perseverant, can get distracted, caring if he wants to. A total jokester, ... Arrogant. When he was a kid, insecure, that's not how you spell insecure. Quiet, a joker. Random. Distracted, hyper when he was alone. Caring and kind. Family, mother, Heather Hernandez, dead. Stepfather, Jordan Richard, alive. Father, Zion Hernandez, died from cancer. How come you took the time to explain how the father died, but for the mother and the sister, you're like, just dead. They're just dead. No explanation needed. Sister, Julie Hernandez, dead. Brother, Miguel Hernandez, alive. He was at college, the oldest child. Teammate / girlfriend, Poison Ivy, Victoria Gale.
Also, I just realized we got an actual name for all these characters except him. It's just the jokester.
That's true.
You're inconsistent.
Disorders, severe ADHD, APD, antisocial personality disorder, insanity, and recovering depression, schizophrenia. Okay, I have a slight problem with the term of insanity. That term, for the most part, is only a legal term, not a psychological term. It means that you cannot distinguish fantasy from reality and, so on. You can Google it. But it really doesn't mean anything like a specific disorder like ADHD does. Also, this feels like you're pretty much trying to copy the actual Joker that we all know and love. It would be good to try and be original. And if you're going to have something like schizophrenia, I'm begging you, do it right. The ADHD is what makes him have the jokes and the randomness. He literally cannot help it.
Does this mean I'm a prick for judging him for the jokes and randomness? Probably. Does that mean I'll stop? It's unlikely.
Clothing, black long-sleeve shirt with blue jeans, hiking boots, and a dark gray scarf. Accessories, none. Catchphrases, it's a little funny, ain't it? It's just a joke. Why? Do you have no sense of humor? April Fools!
I think the April Fool's one is the worst of every single catchphrase here. It doesn't even make sense for 99.98% of the year. It's not a random number I said to sound smart, by the way. I did some basic division on a calculator, and that's what it actually is.
Scars, normal battle scars. Theme song. Okay, if there's no theme song, erase this section. And either way, a theme song is almost never necessary, unless they're like, I guess for maybe a superhero character, maybe a small little theme song might work. But other than that, I don't see why you need a theme song. Bio, summary. Is this a backstory, or is this just a simple summary? What is this? Jason. Okay, I just wanted to point out, we're at the beginning of the backstory, end of the bio. This is the first time in the entire bio you've actually given us your character's real name. This threw me off a bit. Please, in the beginning of the bio, also put his birth name, because you say Jason, and we're like, who the hell is Jason? Grew up in a battlefield. Not an actual battlefield, but a battlefield between his parents who were getting a divorce. He often distracted himself with jokes and tricks so he wouldn't have to listen to his parents arguing. It was way too much for him to bear. They lived in Spain. They moved to America only 9 years after Jason was born. His mother got a job over there. Jason never actually knew what his mom's job was. She never actually told them. He had a hard time learning English. His parents even thought about putting him in a special ed class because of how far behind he was. His oldest brother, his oldest sister, and him always had to hear their parents fight. None of them liked it. Their parents would yell at one another. Like every comedian, he got hate. Kids often knocked him down for his jokes and tricks, calling him a worthless comedian, a useless comedian. Usually he just shook it off like nothing because he was determined to become what he wanted to. He was different, and he embraced it, for his ADHD was another part of the jokes. His parents never got him any medicine for it. Okay, I understand the severity of people's ADHD ranges from person to person, but I still think you should have this play a bigger part in his backstory. Really go into detail and show how this affected him growing up, especially if it's so bad to the point that you need to mention that, like, hey, this is affecting him. His parents didn't even get him medication for it. Like, if it's so bad that he needed it, but his parents couldn't get it for him, show that. When Jason reached high school, he found his father had a few months to live. He had lung cancer. And when he died, so for those of you who haven't seen the video where I went through Muffin's bio, including her backstory, my character's father died too. For the creator of this character, it might be good for you to quickly take a look at that, because this whole backstory with the scene included feels too rushed. This could be a good backstory if you slowed it down and really played into the parts of the story like this. Make us feel something about his father's death. Jason was thrown into a depression. His old friend Lee tried to comfort. Why is the C in comfort capitalized? And also, while this is a totally reasonable response to, like, your father dying, be thrown into depression, I can understand that. Because you didn't write the scene out, we have no sympathy for him. And it just seems kind of like, oh, of course he has depression, instead of like, oh, we understand. His father died. The scene was so beautiful and sad. Of course he'd had depression. So that's why you need to write scenes like that out. They're important, Jason. But where he'd go to school parties where he drank, smoked, and did drugs. It was against the law, but he couldn't stop. And sooner or later, his schizophrenia got worse because of all the things he was doing. I'm bothered by the fact that his schizophrenia literally hasn't played a role in his backstory until now, as if it's another one of your character's quirks, and not a thing people actually have to deal with, and you kind of forgot about it, and you're like, oh gosh, schizophrenia, that's right. By the way, he has schizophrenia.
Like, I understand when you're writing long bios, you tend to forget about some things, like, that was proven when we're writing Mary Sue Monday bios. Sometimes we forget about a couple things, like Sasha mutilating her bird. We totally forgot about that, but, like, try not to do that. I understand that when writing long bios and backstories, it's a bit hard not to do that, but try not to do that, please.
That's why we're here. We'll point those things out to you.
And that's why you gotta point those things out to us as well.
The voice, oh god. The voice often told him to hurt those he loved and to make jokes about his dead father. The voice would sometimes appear. He looked a lot like Jason, and just something was off about him. Jason called him Jokester. The voice was much like him. Eventually, he followed out on what Jokester was telling him and murdered his sister while trying to do an April Fool's joke. What? This is not something you just quickly write out. Things are happening, and oh, by the way, he kills his sister doing a joke. I won't explain. Moving on! His brother at college, and that was his birthday. Jason ended up running away because he didn't want to get caught. He now lives with the guilt of his killing his sister. Wait, did you not say he also killed his brother at college too? How does he not have guilt about that too? Oh, and it just so happened that to be his birthday as well, just to add a bit of sympathy and edge. This is wild.
I don't understand.
Though now, he loves the feeling of killing and named himself the Jokester after the voice, and he was always insane. This literally doesn't make sense though. He literally had to run away from everything because the guilt of killing his sister was eating him. Not his brother for some reason, but just the sister. You wouldn't normally think it would go, oh, I feel so bad about killing my sister, and oh god, I love killing now. You could do that if you really want to make him that kind of character, but I don't feel like he'd be as guilty for killing her if he just loves killing now.
Wow, that is it for all of these characters. We're finally moving on to final thoughts.
There's a lot of grammatical errors, and some clarification on some aspects would be quite nice. As for the characters, they feel pretty generic, which I touched on earlier, but if you're fine with that, more power to you. The currently typed characters that would be best used for a roleplay but not really a written story, as genericism matters far less in that realm on average.
I'm going to agree with Dingo. For roleplay, I feel like you have a good backbone for a character. As an actual OC, I feel like all these characters have very overused traits, and honestly, they weren't done as well as they could have. Don't give up hope, though. Like, I know we've been harsh in this video. Please don't turn off this video and delete your characters. If you really like the ideas for these characters, then they can be done well. But please try to take our critiques to heart and try to change these characters for the better. Please do adequate research for the disorders you begin in your characters, and put more time and effort into the backstory. Having a good backstory that explains the interesting things you begin in your characters can really help these seem a bit better.
The way you've written the bios are very, very, very inconsistent. Like, with one character, you'll not put their real name, but with the other ones, you'll put their real name, and then you'll give a list of, like, stats for one character, but you won't do it with the other characters. We have a blank bio sheet for Creepypasta Characters on the CC DeviantArt. use that, delete and add what you feel is necessary, but try to keep all of the information within the same vein. These 3 characters are connected to each other from what I understand. So you're gonna have to give them all, like, the same type of information, you know?
Especially considering they were all connected to each other, not just, like, random OCs from different fandoms you made. It was weird seeing that some sections had favorites, none of the other ones did. Some of them had stats, none of the other ones did. That was really weird.
Very inconsistent. But that's all I'm gonna say for now. Maybe some more people will have some other things to say in the comments. But anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm Yuji.
And I'm Dingo.
And I'm Muffin.
And we are Constructive Criticism.
We'll see you in the next video. Backstory!
No, you gotta go. Backstory!
Yeah, I like that.
Detroit smash.
Hey, Connor.
Connor, shut up! No one cares about you. Oh, it's Padre.
Languages. American English, mostly Splanish.
Spanish.